Okay, you guys, what is up? The King of Lightning is here today. To do my very first Magi discussion video. Excuse me, I mustn't talk while I chew. Alright, okay, so this discussion video is going to be about Ilah and Ilah. And what's going on there? Because honestly, it's a little bit odd. It's just a little bit odd. Because after the latest chapter of Magi, we're starting to get a grasp as to how Ilah became Ilah. Because it's Magi over, and hold on, I'm sorry, by the way, I guess this is going to be for mainly the manga cats. I mean, if you guys are anime watchers and you guys want to hop in, then by all means. So, if you're not already, because I'm pretty sure I mentioned some spoilers here and there within like the past few minutes, but if you guys don't want to be spoiled anymore, then leave the video. I will see you guys there. That being said, the thing here is that in the latest chapter of Magi, we just found out, alright, that Ilah has been losing a huge quantities of Magi are being taken away from Ilah. And the thing here is that when it came to the initial flashback, okay, of the people, of the humans that resided 800 years ago, they referred to Ilah as Ilah. But over the course of the years, apparently that name has gone from Ilah to Ilah. Now I always wonder, why is it Ilah? As if like Ilah was sick. And we find out that in the latest chapter of Magi, if Ilah loses all of its Magi, then the world will be over. The endgame. And what's fascinating is that at this point in time, there has been no mention, no hint of Rook anywhere. Rook right now is like non-existent. And I'm like, why is that? So, again, my theory here is that as a means of making sure that Ilah could still be alive, Solomon created Rook. That's my theory. But in the process of creating Rook, he created both Light Rook and Dark Rook. So then the question becomes, because originally I always assumed that Ilah and Ilah were two different beings. That was my assumption. When I saw Ilah at the beginning of the Almatoran arc, and then when I go back to Ilah, that came down because of the medium, and how Amon, remember how Amon referred to Ilah as the incarnation of evil. When you take a look at Ilah in the middle, at the beginning of the Almatoran arc, the furthest thing from holy, glowing white with power, and it communicated apparently, well, according to the legends, it communicated with the first humans, make Almatoran, make a utopia of peace. That is the furthest thing from the incarnation of evil. It gave humans magic. Now again, we're just assuming that the legends are true. If in fact the legends, according to Solomon's theory, if the legends were altered in some way, shape, and form, then things may not have gone down the way we first perceive them to go down. That being said, though, according to what the mother dragon said, a being that has lived for 8,000 years, she saw Eli come down, and it was still white and glowing and magnificent. So now we have this idea that Eli and Eli are not two separate beings. More or less, they are the same being. But over the course of time, Eli, which was pure, which was a being that is of good nature, transformed into Eli. And I was talking to a friend of mine, Pete. The question here is that when you take a look at what Eli can do, when Eli's hands, if you would call them, tentacles, touch upon the world, it absorbs all of the Magi from that world. That's what it does. That's what happened with Almatoran, and that's what almost happened with the current world. So the thing here is that going along the notions of Eli needing Magi to sustain itself, it may need the Magi of planets. And in this case, the planet Almatoran, which it created, it would need all its Magi back. Or at least some of it, most of it. Actually, I don't even know about that, because when you think about it, Eli, when it first came down upon the planet of Almatoran, and it gave the magicians their Magi, now we find out that it's losing all the Magi. So at the end of everything, Eli touches down, and Eli takes all the Magi, either all the Magi or all of the white Rooks. See, that's what I'm confused about. It's either all of the Magi or all of the white Rook. Because this whole concept of the Great White Flow, where does that come from? Does that come from God, or is that Solomon's own creation? And the thing here is that why does Dark Rook, specifically condensed Dark Rook, why is that the only thing right now that can actually make contact with Eli? When Eli itself can come upon the planet on its own whims. Eli came by itself on its own whims to touch upon the planet and give people power. So, there are a lot of mysteries. Excuse me. There's my dinner. Yeah. There are a lot of mysteries when it comes to Eli and Eli. But let me say this. If we have to assume that a lot of the things that we first perceive to be absolute in the current world are probably not absolute in Almatoran, because they're worlds of different dimensions. And in their dimension, Almatoran, Rook may not exist. But in the current world, Rook may be the staple. Because again, everything in that planet is made out of Rook. And the Rook themselves distribute Magi throughout the world via the Great White Flow. Now, there has been no mention of the Great White Flow. But however, we do know of multiple Il-Ila type beings existing throughout the universe, and then there is another entity that exists above them. So, well, universe, galaxy, planets, we're not too sure the specifics. But again, the thing here is that because Il-Ila has to touch down and take Magi, that means that probably the assumption that Il-Ila was going to die, that may be wrong. Il-Ila may not actually die. Because if Il-Ila is a being that thinks on its own terms, that thinks on its own, and if Solomon is wrong about that preconceived notion of Il-Ila just simply being a mass of power, then why wouldn't Il-Ila think to itself, alright, you know what, no, I don't want to die, fuck this shit. Alright, I'm taking back my power. Why wouldn't it just do that and just take power away? Like, power, mine. The power is mine, bitches. Why wouldn't it do that? Furthermore, when you take a deeper look into it, if this is the case, and if Solomon is in fact the current god of the world, of the current world, that means that, because remember how we had Ren Gyokuen talk about how there's this hole in this world. We can't see it, but it's some kind of hole. And they can access Il-Ila once again because the hole is open. And they can do so almost immediately. So this may mean that there was some kind of invisible barrier or some kind of invisible force field that Solomon has put around their world, their dimension. So it is outside the confounds of Il-Ila. However, that means that Il-Ila can like jump dimensions and shit. Again, and then also you have to question, so then why wouldn't the being above Il-Ila do something about it? Like, why wouldn't the being above Il-Ila say, no, chill, bro, yo, chill, down boy. So, like, there are many things about this notion of Il-Ila that we don't understand yet. And again, this is the first stage of this discussion. The first stage. Because we will go deeper into this. And the only thing that I'm trying to do right now, I'm not trying to really answer questions. I'm just trying to get a grasp of the situation at hand here. Because just like you guys, I am learning alongside with you when it pertains to this whole Il-Ila thing. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of the guys who've actually read the Quran, they may have greater insight into this. Again, I've not read the Quran. I've been dabbling here and there into Islam. People have been sending me videos when it pertains to Islam. Okay, fine, fair enough. Like, I remember some guy recently sent me a video about like the 7 heavens and like the Kursi of Allah, and then something even greater than that, where it's like a pinprick within a pinprick of the Sahara Desert, like something crazy like that. And I'm like, bro, like this is insane. But it does give you a greater insight into the workings of the Magi story, which at this point in time, according to what I remember, the author said that it was like almost halfway done, something along those lines. Now, let's move on here. The last part I want to get to is where Elder David fits into all this shit. Because Elder David right now, alright, and we're going to probably get greater insight into him tomorrow or Monday, whenever the chapter comes out of Magi. Elder David is a very fascinating individual because Elder David, first of all, he has the power. He somehow, even though Il-Ila gave them power, he somehow was able to use that power to magnify his own power. It kind of like the concept of where if you're given $1 million, instead of making it $1 million, make it 100 million or 300 million or $1 billion, you know? And he's doing that with Magi. With Magi. And again, you have to ask yourself, if this is the case, if Il-Ila actually had a consciousness, why wouldn't it say no, bro? Like this ain't going down. I mean, it's to the point where this whole notion of the world being incomplete probably is due to Elder David's actions. where because Elder David is doing something specifically to Il-Elah, or that is affecting Il-Elah directly, Il-Elah cannot finish the creation of its world. But then again, why would Elah even... Like, see, that's the thing, though. It's like, why would Il-Elah incorporate life into the world when it wasn't even finished? It's weird. It's very weird. But so far, I think we can say, with some confidence here, that number one, Elah and Il-Elah are the same being. They're the same being. And over the course of time, Elah, number two, Elah, that was radiant and magnificent, changed into this dark entity. And somewhere along the lid, and somewhere somewhere in the middle of this transformation of being pure and radiant to an incarnation of evil, Elah became Il-Elah, somewhere along those lines. And it's because of this Magi loss, number three, of this Magi loss due to Elder David's actions. So we don't know where Rook fits into this directly. Again, Rook right now is very strange. And why is it specifically that Dark Rook in condensed mass quantities can contact Il-Elah? And we still don't know if Il-Elah itself is a being that's actually aware. A being that actually can think, and, you know, we're not too sure about that. According to the legends, it's true, but then given hypotheses by people later on, we're not too sure. So, again, it's very iffy. And then how there probably is some kind of measures that someone put against Il-Elah, which is probably why there was some kind of hole created when Il-Elah came down upon the current world. But then why can Il-Elah just jump dimensions? Like why can it do that? So again, we're not too sure. It's very iffy. But that's where I'm going right now, okay? And I'll leave it at that. So again, we're trying to get a grasp of the certain situation at hand. Like if you guys could in the comment section just fill me in on what you guys think, so we can have a clear grasp. And I'll do a part 2 of this, or I'll make another, addendum to this whole talk about Elah and Il-Elah, because this has to be further explained in detail the further on we go. So that being said, again, in the comment section, let me know what you guys think. Lay it down for me, and I'll talk about it in a discussion video again, or at some point maybe a live stream. We'll see. And I'm done. King Lightning. Rate the video, comment, and subscribe as always. Peace. Have a nice day. I want to say one more thing real quick because I need to go somewhere. But the thing here is that when you take a look at Il-Elah, when Il-Elah, at the end of everything with Al-Matoran, and he touches the planet, and he takes the white Rook / Magi of that world of Al-Matoran, the thing here is that apparently it wasn't enough Magi. And when we see Il-Elah again, it is still black, and it is still this incarnation of evil. So the question here would be, so does Il-Elah, has its mindset been completely altered in some way, shape, and form by Elder David or by the Black Rook? Because I always assume that Rook, again, was created by Solomon as a means of another power source. Just how, for example, if Elah is wind power, then Rook is solar power, solar energy, another means of getting Magi, and this would actually cause Elah to survive and not blow up the world, because Elah wouldn't have its Magi taken anymore. So if Elah already took the Magi of the entire planet of Al-Matoran, then why is Elah still, black and decrepit and disgusting? Unless something happened to that Magi, particularly. Either A, it wasn't enough Magi, or B, something happened to that Magi of the planet. Because I always wondered, how did someone have the power? I mean, his magic is disgusting, but how do you have enough power to actually create another planet? And maybe he did so by taking the planet of by taking the Magi of the entire planet and moving it elsewhere. Which means that Il-Eli actually couldn't grab all of the Magi on the planet because it was moved elsewhere. Maybe that's where Root comes from. Maybe the Root that we see in the current world is just another variant of the Magi of the planet that once existed in, Almatoran. Again, not too sure. It's very iffy, and there's still mystery to it. But again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I gotta go. Peace. Have a nice day.